Now we get to our second version of Rabbi Eliezer, the version in Masachet Brachot. This is what's called a parallel text of another version of the same teaching, the same source that we saw in Sanhedrin, in another part of the Talmud, in this case Brachot, which in this case, as it sometimes is a little bit different. In this case, a little longer. So here's Breita. You start reading, Rabbi Eliezer Omer, Im Ne'emar, blah, 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 blah. You say, oh, this seems so familiar. It's all the same. Oh, I know all this stuff. Okay. Then you get to the end. Bum, 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 bum. A little addition. Rabbi Akiva. He says, B'chol nafshecha. Again, notice, oh, that's the quote. And then those words are the quote. The next words are the midrash, what he's telling you the quote means. B'chol nafshecha afilu hu notel et nafshecha, even if he takes your life. So now we have, you should love God. B'chol nafshecha means you should love God even up to and beyond the point when God takes your life. Not necessarily that God is actually killing you, but that your commitment to God leads to the end of your life. So, he actually says, well, Rabbi Eliezer suggested that the meaning of B'chol Nafshecha is you should stay true to God, even if that means accepting death. Is that what Rabbi Eliezer meant? Maybe, maybe not. But it for sure is how our Sugi in Sanhedrin understands him. So we can look at this as an explanation, or of Rabbi Eliezer, insofar as for sure when Rabbi Eliezer is quoted in Sanhedrin, they think he means this. So before we get to this, that means that it makes much clearer how Rabbi Eliezer is seen as a support for the guys in the attic and in opposition to the view of Rabbi Yishmael. Now, then we have our story. Pamachat gazra malchut harish'ah. The wicked malchut, Rome. Yes. Shelo ya'asku Yisrael b'Torah. Right? They forbid Torah study. Ba Papus ben Yehuda, random guy, mitza'o l'Rabbi Akiva. He came across Rabbi Akiva, shahia makil kihilot barabim ve'osek b'Torah. He wasn't only studying Torah, he wasn't only teaching Torah, he was gathering great crowds to teach Torah in public. That Rabbim, that in public, should ring bells for you. We have seen that the significance of public in these issues already. He asked the obvious question. You trying to get killed? Rabbi Akiva is ready. I will tell you a parable to which this thing is similar. Okay. Leshual. That is just a sentence fragment. It is similar to a shual. And what was the shual, the fox, doing? He was on the riverbank. Radagim shayu mitkabtzim makom lemakom. Mitkabtzim, gathering, but presumably they were as a group. They were grouping. They were all kind of zipping over here, over there, over here, trying to avoid something. The fox asks, What seems to be the problem? The nets, the bad people who want to eat them. So, what does the fox say? I now know what that actually refers to. So, it, the first time I asked that question, it was accidental. Now it's for real. What does he say? Why didn't you come up here? We'll live together in peace and harmony. Kishem shedaru avotai im avotechem, just like my ancestors and your ancestors did. That's a weird statement. I'm not sure what uh, history the fox is imagining or what which ancestors he seems to be talking about. But the fish are onto him. You're pikeach, right? Pokeach ivrim, right? To open the eyes of the blind. But pikeach meaning clever or wise. You're an idiot, right? The water is makom chayutenu, the place, our place of life. The land is makom mitatenu, place of death. Kind of reminds me of people who talk about, oh, well, if this planet gets destroyed, it will go up and land Mars, except for the simple problem that there's no breathable air there, which is a slight technicality. Although you wouldn't have to worry about other violent people, I suppose. That's a plus. Um, so the land is the makom mitatenu. Notice the language of the Kal V'chomer, Uma, and Al Achat Kama V'chama, which we've seen before. And now, the Nimshal, the analogy to their situation. Torah for Jews is like water for fish. Without it, we would die, right? Abandoning Torah is like being a fish out of water. We would die, at least in the sense, not necessarily physically, but in that we would cease being Jews. And since he certainly sees that as being essential to his notion of humanness, that is unacceptable. Oops. Now, there is more to say about how and to what extent this analogy relates to the specific question of dying versus doing avodah zarah, since that's not the choice he's making in this story. And in fact, it may push us to revise what we think he meant when he said that b'chol nafshecha means afilu hu notel nafshecha, because the story may suggest that Rabbi Akiva's point is you should continue loving God, i.e., studying and teaching Torah, even if that puts you in danger of likely or even certain death. Which may explain why Rabbi Eliezer ends up as a better support for the dudes in the attic in our sugya than Rabbi Akiva. We also will have to think about how this story relates to the questions in our sugya about the significance of rabim, of what you do in public as opposed to private. But all of that is for further discussion. Now that we have understood the point of the story.